students, welcome back. Today I am Anuradha from Art and Progressive School, going to start another topic of the same chapter that we were discussing in the last class, and the chapter name is The Living World. So in this chapter already we have covered in the previous lectures about the characteristics of living organisms. Okay, then after that we have covered about the biodiversity, and it means that there are different form of living world, okay, or different forms of life present on this earth, and we cannot study each and every individual. Why? Because it's a million of species which is present on this earth. So what is the requirement? We have to go for some methods by which we can study them in a very, very easy and convenient method, right? So here in this part we have done three things. What are they? We have covered about the identification, then we have done about the nomenclature, and then classification. So in the last class we have discussed that because there are so many diverse species, what is there? We are going for the identification, then nomenclature and classification, right? So we have done that. First of all, if we will get any of the species, okay, which is unknown for us, we will go for the identification. Then after we will assign some name also. So for that we have done that there may be common naming as well as the scientific naming. Okay, under the scientific naming again we have classified into two parts. What are they? Binomial nomenclature as well as the trinomial nomenclature. So up to this part we have covered in the previous lectures, right? So today whatever things we are getting, okay, we will go for the classification, right? So today our topic will start from the classification. So the question arises that what do you understand by the classification? Okay, in a very simple form, or in a very simple example, we can say whenever we are talking about the classification, we can say about the living also as well as the non-living also. Why? Because if you are going to the market and you are bringing something from the market, like you have brought onion, carrot, then cabbage, cauliflower, as well as you are bringing pencil, eraser, sharpener, scale, books, like this you have kept all these things. Whatever you have brought from the market, you have kept those things here only. Okay, so you don't we are not bothering that whether all these things are what. Okay, so you have kept all these things here at one place. Now what happened, that you will try to manage all these things, because the if I am talking about the onion, carrot, cabbage, cauliflower, what we are going to do, we will keep all these things in our kitchen. Okay, so like this, when we are bringing the stationery work, okay, like pencil, eraser and the books, what we are doing, we are keeping here into the study room. Okay, likewise if we are having some furniture and we want to keep it in our living room, so we will keep it in the living room. So what we are doing here, whatever the things we are having, okay, if we will keep all the things at one place, what will happen? It will not be manageable. Here I am talking about the only this much thing, but you can imagine that on this earth so many species are there. So if all these will be at one place, okay, if we are keeping all these things at one place, so what will happen? We will not be able to differentiate between them. Okay, so on the basis of their morphology or their functions or their utility, what we are doing, we are classifying in a proper manner so that it will be convenient for us. Okay, so now it will be very convenient if somebody will come to your house, if he or she wants to take potato or anything like tomato, what will happen? He or she will directly go to the kitchen. Okay, it will be easier to identify it. So what we are doing, we are classifying the things according to the functions or the utility or the characteristics, right? Now here in this classification you can do for any living thing as well as for the non-living thing. Okay, here also we are classifying the things. But now whenever we are talking specifically in the living organism, as the chapter name is what, the living world, and the diversity or the biodiversity of what, of all the living organisms. So what we are going to do, we will classify the living organisms, right? Here we are not going to classify the non-living things. Okay, so what is happening, whenever we are talking about the classification of the living organisms, then we will use the word taxonomy. Okay, this is a scientific term which we are using in place of classification, right? So go through it. What is the classification? Anything. Okay, it can be anything which we are grouping. Okay, anything is grouped into the convenient categories. So what are these things? These are the categories. Category for the kitchen, category for your study room, category for your living room. Okay, so all these what they are making, they are making the categories, right? Likewise, all these are based on the observable character. So when we are talking about the classification, it means that we are seeing morphological characters. Okay, so whenever we are going for only the observed character, we are calling it the classification, right? Now again, when we are talking about the scientific classification of all the living organisms, so same thing, what we are doing here, classification of living organisms, and we can say it is the science or the process in which we are using the principles and the procedures. Okay, so what is going to happen, this is for the principle and procedures for the classification, how we are going to classify this whole thing. Okay, so it comes under the taxonomy. Likewise, if we are having a dog, cat, okay, and we can say lion, tiger, so what we are doing, on the basis of their characters, we are classifying into different categories. So you must have done this thing in the earlier class also, that what is the kingdom, then phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. Okay, so likewise what we are doing, we are categorizing the things. Okay, so here we are talking about the whole animal kingdom. So in the particular animal kingdom, what are the different categories? So we will discuss it here only in the detailed manner. So what is the taxonomy? We can see taxonomy is nothing. It is just like a classification, and this classification is based on some characteristics. Okay, so the next part is what? It is the basis of classification. So how we are going for the taxonomy or the classification, on the basis of some characteristics. Okay, so what are the different characteristics on the basis of what we are classifying these living organisms? Okay, again I am emphasizing on the word living one. So what we are doing here, we are going for the morphological characters. What do you understand by the morphological characters? It means that when you are observing the outer appearance, okay, for example, you are seeing this flower. Okay, so you can say that patterns of this flower is blue in color, right? Likewise, how you have observed, on the basis of your eye, right? So on the basis of their color, and you have distinguished that whether it is a blue color flower or whether it is a red color flower. So here what you are observing? You are observing the morphological characters. Okay. Now again you can go for the anatomical characters also. What do you understand by anatomy? Whenever we are talking about the internal part of any living organism, it is known as anatomy. Okay, morphology is what? It is the external character, right? Anatomy is what? It is the internal character. So when I will go for the dissection of this flower, what is going to happen? I will see that what is present inside this flower. Okay, what are the different tissues which is present in any human beings, right? So when we are going for the dissection of plants as well as animals, we are talking about the anatomy. Okay, so here on the basis of the external character as well as the internal character, we are going to classify the living organisms. Okay, now along with these characters, some more characters are there. What are these characters? Cytological characters. Whenever we are using the word cyto, it means that something which is related to the cell. Okay, so what is going to happen inside any cell, or what is happening on the basis of the cell? So we can say this is the cytological study. Okay, Then next it can be the genetical character also. Genetical means that when we are talking about the DNA as well as all this genetic material, then we can say that we are including the genetical character as well. Okay. Then next is the embryological characteristics. What do you understand by embryological characteristic? It means that when we are considering the embryo also, okay, it means that we are talking about the whole characters of the plants also as well as for the animals also, right? And the last and not the least one, this is the ecological character. What do you understand by ecological character? It means that at which place they are adapted. Okay, so we are considering that thing also. For example, whether this organism is of aquatic species or it is a land dwelling species or the terrestrial species or the flying species. Okay, so on the basis of their surroundings, we are also classifying them. Okay, so these are the different bases on which we are categorizing or classifying the living organisms. Okay, so now again if you will see some more classification of this taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy having some classification, that is it can be old or the classical taxonomy, right? Old means or classical means something which is older one. Okay, then another classification is what? The older one as the classical one. Classical is one is what? It is the older one as well as the new classification. So this classical is what? When we are considering only the external appearance. Okay, we cannot say that the classification is a new thing. Okay, it is happening from the Aristotle and Theophrastus when they have started. Okay, then after the Carolus Linnaeus has contributed in some more classification. So what we can say that this classical is what? It is only considering the external appearance. But when we are talking about the new classification, okay, so what we are considering? We are considering the other characters also, right? So this is what? This is the classification of taxonomy. Now, as well as we have classified the taxonomy into three parts, okay, and it was given by the scientists that it can be alpha taxonomy, it can be beta taxonomy, it can be omega taxonomy. Okay, three types of taxonomies are there. Again, in alpha, it is an older one. We are considering only the morphological anatomical sorry, in alpha taxonomy we are considering only the morphological basis. Okay, in beta taxonomy we are considering all these characters here. So what about the omega taxonomy? It means that whatever the biochemical studies, okay, along with all these things we are considering the biochemical characters. It means that what is the thing which is happening inside the particular living species. So we are considering that one also. It is known as the omega taxonomy. Okay, so here we can say that there are different aspects or different types by which we can classify the organisms. Okay, so here we have completed the taxonomy. So the question arises that who has given this term? The term given by the A.P. de Candolle. Okay, this question is very important. So who has coined the term taxonomy? De Candolle. Okay, now you can confuse between these three terms: taxonomy, systematic and taxonomic categories. Okay, three things are there, and these three things are what? Taxonomy is what? It is the process of classification. Now if I will talk about a systematic, okay, what do you understand by systematic? Systematic means that again it is a type of classification. Okay, systematic is what? It is also a type of classification, but here this systematic word is coming from where? From the Latin word. Okay, it is coming from the Latin word. It means, and Latin word is what? Systema. Okay, what is this Latin word? Systema, which means that in a systematic manner, when we are classifying the living organism in a systematic manner, it is known as the systema. Okay, and this method or this process is known as the systematic. Okay, so here also what we are doing? We are categorizing the thing. For example, again I am giving you an example. In your study room you are having one shelf, okay, and it is having different compartments. Okay, it is having different compartments. So what you are going to do, what you are doing, you are keeping all the physics book in this shelf, then chemistry here, then biology here, and then English, and then Hindi, okay, or computers, anything of physical education according to your stream. So what you have done here, you have classified, okay, you have categorized the thing as per your ease. If you will keep all these books here on the table, so it will be difficult for you to manage it. So what you have done, again you have given the classification, and this classification is what, in a systematic manner. Okay, so we can say systematic is what, again it is a type of classification, but there is only a slight difference. What is the difference? It means that along with this all the characters, okay, along with all the characters, on the basis of these character, we are considering some one more character, that is the phylogeny. Okay, what we are calling it, phylogeny, and this phylogeny is what, evolutionary relationship. Now what do you understand by evolutionary relationship? We all know that we human beings, we are transformed from some other initial part. Okay, example, the life on this earth originate from where? From the prokaryotes. Okay, from the single cell. After that it will become the eukaryotes. In eukaryotes again it is can be unicellular, it can be multicellular. Okay, so likewise, if mammalia, if we will compare the amphibia, reptilia, okay, so somehow they are sharing the common character with the previous phylum also. Okay, so we can say there are some relationship between the organisms. For example, we are sharing the common characteristics with the monkey. Okay, as we all are under the mammalia, right? But still we are having some characters, and that's why we are saying that when we are considering this relationship, evolutionary means that from the ancestral, okay, we are comparing ourselves with the ancestral life. So this is what, this is an evolutionary, how the evolution will take place. Okay, so this is known as the phylogeny. So in the systematics, what we are doing, we are going for the taxonomy, and taxonomy is what, in which we are considering the things like CICN. Okay, in short you can memorize that with CICN. So what is the first thing? Characterization. What is the first thing? Characterization. Then you will go for the identification. Then comes to the classification. Okay, then you will comes towards the nomenclature. Okay, so what you are doing, you are going for the characterization, then identification, classification, and nomenclature. So one by one we will understand that what is characterization. Okay, for example, if you have gone to the or you have visited your garden, okay, what happens that you will find some species, but you don't know what it is, you don't know anything about it. So what you have done, for example, this is a species. So what you will do, you will see the morphological characters. Okay, then on the basis of this morphological characters, what you are doing, your characterization will be done. Okay, what is characterization? On the basis of all these characters, you will see them. Okay, then once you have see the characters, you will identify that whether they are matching these characters with the existing species. For example, what I said, that this is any unknown species. You don't know anything about this one. Okay, so now what you will do, you will see the characters of this particular species, and what you will do, you will see that whether characters are matching with the existing one. If you, for example, in case of arthropoda, you will see that there will be 3 pairs of legs. Okay, so likewise you will compare this particular one with any existing species. So what is it? You are going for the identification. So identification is what? With the existing species. Now once you have identified that yes, it is showing somehow same characters, on the basis of similarity and dissimilarity, what you are going to do, you are keeping all these things in a proper classification manner. Okay, you are going to classify it. Same thing what I said, that if you are going to classify any non-living things, what you are doing here, you are classifying How you are classifying that whether they are similar or whether they are dissimilar. If you are having 2 to 3 books of physics, so these are the similarities, and all these 4 books are of physics only. Likewise, if you are having chemistry, so you are having all the books of chemistry. So this is what you are going to classify these things on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities, and what you are observing, the different characteristics. Okay, so after this you will go for the nomenclature, and you have assigned the name here. So in the taxonomy we are dealing with these 4 things, right? But what about the systematic? Addition to this taxonomy means that we are considering all these characterization, identification, classification, nomenclature. Addition to it, we are considering the phylogenetic relationship also. What we are considering? Phylogeny also. So this is what this is known as the systematics. So in very simple form, I can say that what is systematic? Systematic is a combination of taxonomy, and we know, and it's quite obvious that what is taxonomy. It consists of all these 4 steps, okay, and this will combine with the phylogeny. So it is combination of what? It is a combination of taxonomy and the phylogeny. Okay, so that much is there in systematics. Okay, otherwise both are somehow same, related to the classification. So now what is there? The word is coming from where? From the Carolus Linnaeus, okay, or we can say father of modern taxonomy. Why? Because earlier it was done by some earlier scientist, and later on it is more observable character by the Carolus Linnaeus, okay, and according to this, it's all the keeping all these things in mind, he has given the book or published the book Systema Naturae. Okay, we have done that. What is Systema Naturae? In which they have classified everything in a proper manner or in a systematic manner. Okay, so we have done 2 books, Species Plantarum and the Systema Naturae, right? Systema Naturae for the animals. So here, what do you understand by taxonomy and systematic? It is clear. Now we will understand that what is taxonomic category. The taxonomic categories, as we have done that, what are the terms? That is the taxonomy, then it is the systematics, then there is a term that is known as the taxonomic categories. Whenever we are using the word taxonomy, okay, it means that we are talking about the classification, and when we are talking about the classification, it means that we are talking about some category. Okay, likewise what we have done different categories. Okay, when we have classified the things, what we said that each one is what? Each one is the category, right? So same thing, taxonomic categories is what? That when we are going for the classification of the living organism, so what is happening here? Then we are categorizing on the basis of the characters, and each one it is known as the category. Okay, so what we can say, each step of this classification, it is known as what? You can say rank also, you can say category also, you can say taxon also, and out of them this is very, very important, because when we are talking about the taxonomy is what? It means classification, right? So when we are going for the classification of the living organisms, how we have classified? On the basis of character, and each classification, okay, each category, it is known as the taxon. So all the terms, they are same. You can say rank also, this is a first rank, second rank, third rank and fourth rank. It can be the category A category, B category, C category and D category. Okay, likewise it can be taxon, first, second, third, fourth, anything which you can represent it here to for the ease of the things, right? So what you can say, that what is the taxonomic categories? It is the sequential manner, because we cannot do the classification in a single step. Okay, classification cannot be done in a single step, it is a multi-step. And what are the multi-step? In which they are having 2, 3, 4, 5 or many steps, right? And each step is representing the taxon. Okay, and here the unit of classification, okay, when we are talking about the unit of classification is what? It is the category, okay, or you can say taxon. So here what we are doing, we are categorizing the living organism. So what type of classification you can say? You can say taxonomic classification or the biological classification of the particular individual. Okay, so how we are doing these things? For that, we will go for the hierarchy. Okay, so when we are talking about the taxonomic categories, so what we are dealing with the proper hierarchy of the organism. It means that it is showing that something is at the lower level and something is at the higher level. So you can see that this inverted one, what it is showing, that the smallest one is present at the base part, which is considering the species, and this kingdom. Okay, kingdom, then phylum, then class, order, family, genus, and species. Right? So kingdom is what? Kingdom is the highest one, and species is what? Species is present at the lowest one. Right? So you have to understand this thing with the help of this diagram also, or what you can see, you can do like this also. Okay, this is the highest step, and afterward this is the lowest, like this is the lowest, and this one is the lowest. So what it is? Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, then genus, then species. Right? So what I have written here also the same thing. So it means that when we are going from the descending order, what is descending order? From highest to the lowest category, and each one it is showing what? It is showing the category. What you will call it? This kingdom category, this phylum category, class category, all these are category, or you can say kingdom taxon, phylum taxon. This is what? This is the taxon. Okay, and when we are talking about the plural form, you will call that taxa. Okay, when we are combining all these categories or all the taxon, what you are using the word? Taxa, and the whole classification, it is known as taxonomy. Right here. So likewise, what you have to do? You have to classify on the hierarchy basis. What do you understand by hierarchy? It means that it can be from smaller to bigger and bigger to smaller. Okay, it can be in ascending order, it can be descending order. So here how we are classifying? We are classifying in the descending order. It means that the species, it is the smallest unit of classification, and if I will ask which one is the largest unit, your answer will be kingdom. Okay, so this is the thing which is related to the taxonomic categories or taxonomic hierarchy. Right? So how we are doing all these things? What do you understand by species, this genus, family? So it means that species is what? I am starting from the lowest one. Okay, what is happening? I am starting from the lowest one. So lowest one is what? This is the species. And what do you understand by the species? It means that all the organism which is sharing the common characteristics. Okay, whatever the species they are present here, they are sharing the common characteristics. Right? For example, we are having Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Panthera pardus. Right? So all these leos, tigris and pardus, these are denoting the species when there will be mating of this leo with leo. Okay, both are the same species. So again we will get the Panthera leo. Likewise, when we are going for the crossing of the tigris and tigris, we will get the same tigris here and this part. So we can say in the species there can be intermating. Okay, intermating takes place between the closely related species. So the closely related species for the leo is leo only. Okay, so we can say that here interbreeding is possible, but there is one thing: whenever the interbreeding will take place, it will give rise to the fertile offspring. Okay, what is my answer? That whenever we are talking about the species, there will be intermating, and due to this intermating, the F1 individual which we are getting here, it should be fertile. Then only there will be applicable. Okay, here this concept, the thing which I have said right now, it is known as biological concept of species. What it says, again it is saying the same thing, that when we are going for the intermating of the species, of the related species, the progeny which we are getting, it should be fertile. But here exceptions are there. What is an exception? Exception about the mule. We all know about the mule. Okay, so in nature itself, what is happening? There will be crossing between horse. There will be crossing between horse and donkey. Okay, so what is happening? Horse will act as a female and donkey will act as a male. right? So what we are getting here, we are getting the mule. So here you can observe that what you are getting the sterile progeny. The mule which is going to form here, it will be sterile. So we cannot say this will follow the biological concept of species, because species are what, when they are mating with the same one, because horse is one of the species and donkey is the another one, and both are not closely related. That's why it is not giving rise to the fertile offspring, right? Same thing, there are some more example. Then when we are going for the lion with tiger, okay, a tiger with lion, all these are the different species, okay. Lion, or we can say here it can be tigress, okay, here it can be lioness, okay. So what is happening here, we are getting the different species, and these species, they are fertile, okay. Now this one is happening in the natural condition and this is happening in the captivity area. It means that we are going for the proper fertilization, and this type of fertilization, in this type of hybridization, it is known as the interspecific. What do you understand by interspecific? It means that there are two different types of species. Here also we are having two different types of species, but this is happening in the control condition, this is happening in the natural condition. So what we are saying, that when we are talking about the natural condition, so biological concept of species, it is applicable to the natural condition. So in natural condition, whenever there will be mating between the species, there will be a production of fertile offspring, okay. And this concept was given by the Ernest Mayr, okay. This question is very important, and the term species was given by the John Ray, okay. So this biological concept of species, it is related to the species part, right? Now we can see that all these species, they are sharing some similar characteristics, right? That's why these all are species. But as we are moving upward, what is happening? There is genus. What do you understand by the genus? Genus is what, when we are talking about the aggregation of all the closely related species, okay. This what, it is a combination or the accumulation of the all closely related species. It is known as the genus. It means that it is sharing the same characteristic with species. So somehow there are same characteristics, okay. So but as we are moving upward, what we are observing, that there will be less similarities, okay. As we are moving downwards, what is happening? Similarity will get increasing, okay. When we are going from lower to upward, what is happening? There will be increase in dissimilarity and decrease in the similarity, okay. So here another genus is what? Genus can be Panthera or genus can be Felis, right? So in Panthera genus only, so there is one line that in one genre there may be one or two or many species. So here you can see that there is only one genre, that is a Panthera. So under this Panthera you are having three different species, or it can be more than three different species, right? So what is happening? All the Panthera, they are having somehow similar characters, right? Likewise, we are having another genus, that is a Felis, okay. Under the Felis, we are having two species. What are they? Felis domestica and Felis chaus. What is Felis domestica? It is a cat, okay. It is a domestic cat and it is a wild cat, and both comes under the same genus, okay. So here they are sharing some more common characteristics. So as we are moving, somehow they are diverse, but still they are showing some similarity among them, okay. Now again we will move upward, so we will get the family here, okay. So what we are having? The family. Family is what? Family can be Canidae or it can be Felidae, okay. We know that Canidae family is what? Those who are having canines. Dog family. Felidae is what? It is a cat family, okay. So under the same family we are having this Panthera also, as well as this Felis also. So again what is happening? There will be somehow less similarity as compared to the genus and species. In species there will be more similarity, okay. But as we are moving upward in family, in this family, you will see that there will be less similarity, okay. Now all these are what? These are the family here. So as we will move upward, we will get the order, okay. This order is what? It can be primates, it can be carnivora, Okay, primates as well as carnivora. So this carnivora having two types of family. So family is what? Group of group or accumulation of the closely related genus. And what is a family? It is a group of the closely related genus. Okay, likewise order is what? Order is the group of the closely related family. Okay, it is sharing the same family here. So what we are calling it? So now in this order part we are having primates and carnivora. In carnivora two types of families are there. Okay, again if you will move towards the class. Okay, what is the class? It can be reptilia, it can be mammalia, and we all know that there are some more classes. Okay, so here this reptilia, mammalia, again they are not showing some more similar characters. So what you are observing here, characters are somehow similar, but as we are moving upward, can see reptilia and mammalia, there are less similar character, or we can say very less similar character, right? So now if we move upward to the phylum. Phylum is what? Phylum can be arthropoda or it can be chordata. Okay, along with this we are having so many phylums: porifera, coelenterata, ctenophora. Okay, so we are having different phylums. So out of them if we consider two phylums, okay, so this reptilia and mammalia both comes under the same phylum, that is a chordata. Okay, but there is no more similarity between chordata and arthropoda. Okay, so similarity will be less. Now if we move upward into the kingdom, in kingdom what is happening? Kingdom can be plant kingdom or it can be animal kingdom. Okay, so whenever we are talking about the animal, what type of kingdom it will be? Animalia kingdom. Okay, and what is kingdom? It is a group of all the similar phylum. Okay, we can say it is the accumulation of the similar same type of relationship. Okay, so again we can conclude it here, as we are moving upward there will be more diversity. Okay, more diverse form, and as we are moving downwards there will be somehow similarity among them. Okay, and this one can be shown by this pyramid also. Okay, now here we have completed about the animal kingdom. So likewise you can go for the classification of different types of animals. Okay, here we have done about these panthera as well as the domestic this felis one, as well as the panthera genus. You can go for the mango also, you can go for the rice also, or you can go for any plant or any of the animal species. There is only one difference: when we are going for the classification of animal kingdom we are using the word phylum, but when we are going for the classification of plant species, or when we are going for the plant classification, we will use the word division. So instead of phylum, what we are using here? Division. And we have done this thing earlier also. There are so many division like Thallophyta, okay, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperm, Angiosperm. What are they? All these are the different division. Okay, so ant kingdom can be plant kingdom. Otherwise everything will remain same. Okay, so here we have completed the taxonomic categories, and it is what? It is the hierarchy in which we are placing the different organisms. And here we can say species is the having the important role, because it can go for the interbreeding, intermating. Okay, we cannot go for the intermating between the different orders. Why it is happening so? Because there will be more dissimilar characters. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.